The captain? Who are you talking about? Well, after working as a mercenary alongside a father figure such as he, I have high hopes for our professor, as expected from a child of the former captain of the Knights. Thank you for today, Professor. I have much to consider. That's enough of that. If we don't work together and give it our all, we are doomed to fail. Since the ceremony is at the Goddess Tower, it follows that everywhere else at the Academy will be severely understaffed. Lady Rhea can be rather intimidating at times. In fact, she can be downright terrifying. She is the girl who looks about the same age as me, but seems well beyond her years. Be gentle with them, Raphael. Let us carry each one individually. And slowly. That will not be acceptable, Marianne. The whole point of this exercise is for each house to act as one. I'm so pleased to be in your class, Professor. You truly bring out the best in us. In other words, you are the absent-minded one, not our professor. Claude, there are some strange-looking people here. How scandalous! I, for one, plan to simply behold the pure essence of dance. That almost certainly will not transpire. I'm already excited. After 5 years, we'll all be whoever we're going to become. It is a difficult task, but we will succeed. I don't believe anything you say. Our professor is still alive. Good grief. Why are you always so negative? Flame? Is something on your mind? So, they knew we were heading to the Holy Tomb and followed us here. The Empire is rash. But I never thought it would come to this. We will stop Edelgard's rampage! Yes, it was the logical choice. My dancing was superior. I was so excited to see everyone again, and then this happens. Are you suggesting that we fight back against the Empire? I will join as well. After all, House Ordelia was once dragged into an Imperial revolt. It ruined us. The hero of Daphne, I presume. So, if we were to capture the bridge, but we have to pass through Gloucester territory to reach the Great Bridge of Myrddin, do we not? How unsettling. There are bridges in the southern part of Ordelia territory, but nothing like this. You're right. The enemy's guard should be down, so let's end this quickly before they have a chance to retaliate. I recall the terrain from the Battle of the Eagle and Lion, but without the ability to see the enemy's formation. Professor, Claude, may I have a moment of your time? Must you treat me like a child, simply because I'm awake a bit later than usual? Actually, I can hardly muster any indignation right now. I wanted to tell you that I noticed something odd during that battle. There were some strange mages among the ranks of the Imperial Army. Did you notice them? That's right. I have seen people dressed just like that before. It was a long time ago. House Ordelia was involved in a rebellion that took place within the Empire 13 years ago. After it was quelled, all of the key officials were caught and put to death. The Empire sent replacements, who they used to take control of House Ordelia. Among the people sent by the Empire were mages dressed in black, just like those we saw in battle. Yes, but the mages from back then and today, I do not believe they are from the Adrestian Empire. No. I got the impression that they were from somewhere else, somewhere completely separate from Fodlan. There's more. Those mages imprisoned the children from my house and performed horrible rituals on them. Blood experiments, yes. All of the others were deemed failures. They all died, and even I... It doesn't matter. The point is that those monsters possess dreadful knowledge and power. I just thought you should know the sort of people who have allied with the Empire. It is a massive fortress that was constructed to protect the Imperial capital. What did you write in the letter? You are referring to Claude and the Professor, I assume. Even within our own odd group, those two are particularly unusual. Well, it was simply a figure of speech. I am speaking about Claude and the Professor right now. I suspect those mages will be lurking within as well. Understood. I think I speak for everyone when I say that we are prepared. They were also the ones who used me to conduct their blood experiments. Incredible. Who knew that there was such a vast space beneath the ground? It's like an ancient ruin. but not just because of its appearance. I, too, will fight until the end. I wish to protect Foldland's future. Tea is nice and all, but it's not much good when you don't have sweets to go with it. If you've got time to be cheeky, you've got time to find me some sweets. Hrim. It's obvious, isn't it? Ferdinand, do you really know nothing about Hrim? Your own father was ruling it. You don't know what became of the area once he fell from power? You're right. Now isn't the time for chit-chat. Let's get over there quickly. Professor, will you be coming? We'd better depart as soon as possible. I know a bit about the situation. I'll fill you in later. Professor, time is of the essence. If you're going to come with us, prepare as quickly as you can. I can tell you what I know. You know about the Hrim Rebellion, right? That's right. The Insurrection of the Seven. I've always wondered why it was called Seven when there were only 6 noble families. How vexing. Either way, events unfolded shortly thereafter. Are you aware of how Duke Ayer was ruling the Hrim territory? He imposed harsh taxes upon the people, much harsher than on his own, making their lives very challenging. People fled their homes in droves to the neighboring Ordelia territory, but they were sent back from where they came. The Empire was occupying Ordelia territory as well, as it turned out. Issues were further complicated when Duke Ayer fell from power. Ayer was dismissed from his position, only to be replaced by Lord Arundel. Correct. And he imposed even heavier taxes on the people, squeezing them painfully dry. The people were conscripted for duty. Any who opposed were killed on the spot. Lord Arundel did this in the name of Duke Ayer. Your father was by no means a great ruler, but it was Lord Arundel who stoked the fury of the people and directed that fury at your father. Duke Ayer is not perfect, but he's not the villain in this. Nothing helps deep thought like sweets. Sweets, they help you think. Perhaps you should find some for us. For me? I love it! Thank you. I guess I can take this. Professor, may I ask you something? I see. Gotcha. I am not sure about that. Perfect comprehension. Failed? It's due to your poor judgment. It was quite a challenge. I've got to keep working hard. Talent like this, hidden away. With you on my side, this'll be a cakewalk. Let's see this through. Let's make it quick. Right. No problem. Well then, let's get to it. Let's get started already. We did a fine job. There. It's over. I have a favor to ask of you. I'm glad I asked. Easier than I thought. I didn't study hard enough, clearly. Don't stop. Keep it coming. That's okay. I just need to work harder. I'll certainly do better next time. For me? I love it. Thank you. I guess I can take this. Professor, may I ask you something? I see. Gotcha. I am not sure about that. Perfect comprehension. Failed? It's due to your poor judgment. It was quite a challenge. I've got to keep working hard. Talent like this, hidden away. With you on my side, this'll be a cakewalk. Let's see this through. Hello. Right. No problem. Well then, let's get to it. Let's get started already. We did a fine job. There. It's over. I have a favor to ask of you. I'm glad I asked. Easier than I thought. I didn't study hard enough, clearly. Don't stop. Keep it coming. That's okay. I just need to work harder. I'll certainly do better next time. How vexing. This isn't what I wanted. There's still a long way to go. I have to try harder. My efforts are paying off. I don't have time for failure. I finally made it. I see. Aha, I'm getting it. I've got a grasp on this. Perfect comprehension. How conspicuous. It's worth trying out. I can make it work. If only I'd lived just a little longer. Seems I may have underestimated the enemy. I aspire to be my best. I'm not there yet. I will keep making progress. I've reached my goal. I see. I guess all that time wasn't wasted. Perseverance is the key. This success will translate to victory. This could work out for me. I hope this is the right choice. I will forge ahead no matter what. So you're the skilled mercenary who saved Claude, are you? And I am Lysithea von Ordelia. Please do not forget it. Hi, Professor. Have you gotten around to visiting the library yet? It's absolutely loaded with valuable information. I only wish I wasn't burdened with the necessity of sleep, so I could spend all my hours there. In a manner, yes, But it's more that I want to learn as much as I possibly can. Please don't treat me like a child. I may be a bit younger than the others, but that really shouldn't factor in. There are way too many vegetables in today's meal. The ratio of vegetables to sweets was completely skewed. Oh, hi, Professor. Were you just eavesdropping on me? Well, everyone knows a plate full of sweets is far preferred to a plate full of vegetables, regardless of age. Professor, it would seem that a minor lord in Fargus is raising an army. This poses a threat, obviously, but not one for the kingdom, for the church. I mean, Fargus doesn't even have a king at present. There's something unsettling about this army. You had better ensure we're fully prepared. The monastery grounds are far too spread out. Feels like it takes hours to get from one area to another. And no, that's not because I'm getting lost. I'm a fully capable, mature person who never gets lost. I don't know who's to blame for all this commotion, but it's frankly a huge inconvenience. With everyone stuck on guard duty, our study and training time has been drastically reduced. Yes, I understand that. But it doesn't change the fact that it's a royal pain. Indeed. For now, let's do all we can to find and dispose of our enemy. Is it true that Lady Rhea entrusted the sword of the Creator to you? I can hardly even fathom you being capable of wielding something of such power. Just who are you anyway? Aristocrats are fools, allowing their lives to be dictated by their crests. Though I suppose I am much the same in that regard. Reflecting on it now, Flane has always seemed a rather odd person. She appears young, yet there's something about her that seems much older than her years suggest. And she's quite wise, but also surprisingly naive. You might be right. Whatever the case, Sedith seems to care for her more than anything. A ghost? Don't be absurd! Why would we go all the way to Gronder Field? It's idiocy to travel that far. It may be a tradition, but it takes forever to get there and is exhausting. So pointless. I guess there's nothing to be done about it. Even by you, Professor. I heard about Remire Village from some of the knights. It's certainly troubling. If it's a contagion, we at Garrick Mach should be on the lookout as well. Oh? Well, that's better. But I wonder what the real cause could be. Your words are oddly persuasive, Professor, even if they're not exactly based on anything. It's true that Tomas was employed here under the recommendation of House Ordelia, but that's all I know of the topic. I never even seen him prior to enrolling here. Even when he was supposedly in Ordelia territory, I never once saw him there. I'm still feeling bothered by all of this. But there's not much else I can say about it right now. Right. It's the dance this month, isn't it? Can't see how anyone would be much in the mood for dancing, considering. Although I suppose the White Heron Cup does sound pretty fun. You want me to be our representative? I've certainly got a few moves. It would probably be more logical to ask someone who likes dancing in the first place, so I certainly understand. Professor, can you supervise my dance rehearsal? If I'm gonna do this, I want to win it. Well, how was I? I figure if I dance with passion and fervor, I'll appear even more mature. You've chosen me, but you won't even bother to help me prepare? That's rather rude, Professor. You chose wisely. I gave it my all, and I'm glad it paid off. I'm so sorry I lost. You put faith in my abilities, and now I've let you down. I'm sure you will pull through this, because you're so strong, Professor. Best to stay calm during such tumultuous and upsetting times. We don't know the nature of our enemies. If we underestimate them, anything could happen. I agree they must be defeated, but I also feel we must approach this with prudence. Yes, I agree. I don't want to lose you too, Professor. Your hair! And your eyes! What happened to you? You didn't lose something as a consequence of gaining these powers, did you? I see. Well, that makes me feel better. But still, be careful. Sometimes our frail bodies don't do well with excess power, so don't push yourself too hard. So Edelgard, the one who calls herself the Flame Emperor, was connected to those strange beings. The Imperial Army might be using even more terrifying methods than we know. You had better be cautious, Professor. Any amount of carelessness might prove to be our undoing. If the church is behind the current state of things, this society in which only crests are valued, then I have no need of it. Edelgard is taking the shortest path to change. No matter how drastic her measures, I agree that this is the only way. That said, if Edelgard strays from her noble path, I trust you will set her straight again. Won't you? I am counting on you, Professor. I'm relieved you're here, Professor. It seems we've reached a stalemate on the war front. I admit I'm feeling apprehensive about fighting the Alliance. I agree. It's time to shelve my personal feelings and focus on the bigger picture. No, I have to shelve my personal feelings. There are bigger things at play here. I'll fight with full force. I'm counting on you to lead us to victory, Professor. Without the support of the pro-imperialist lords, the Alliance is greatly weakened. Even so, I don't feel great about all this. We're gonna be fighting Claude. We can't. You're right. Claude has such unusual strategies for toying with his enemies. Even so, we should stay alert. Claude won't be caught off guard. Neither should we. Even with you here, this battle will be very challenging. The battle ended without House Ordelia getting involved. Although, I've no desire to continue on with my family. So from here on out, it's up to Edelgard. I have Claude to thank. Before the battle, he considered my precarious position and told me it wouldn't matter if we fell to the Empire. So when you invited me, I accepted without hesitation. Ultimately, this ended without the Alliance being entirely consumed by this war. It's all thanks to Claude. I've been informed of the surprise attack. That information could be devastating were the enemy to find out. It moves me to know I've been trusted with it. Edelgard and those within the army, they really do trust me. Initially, I had my own motives for joining the Black Eagle Strike Force, but now, all I want is to support Edelgard. If we win this battle, it will be an end to the kingdom and to the church. Under the Empire, an era of peace would begin. Many people are cleaving to this notion, but I wonder if it would really end up as such. Such resolve. It's convincing to say the least. I worry as much myself. It's true. It's nothing but hypotheticals at this point. I wonder, was the collapse of Aryan Road really the church's doing? Or could it be that... Never mind me. Just thinking aloud. But now, I can finally take action with a clear goal. I'm grateful to you and to everyone. Nonsense. Your presence steeled everyone's resolve. If Claude somehow survived, I imagine he's terribly wounded. All three forces have suffered heavy losses. We're incredibly lucky to have not been involved. This is a perfect and unique opportunity to go on the offense. Now is the time to prove ourselves, Professor. Care to share your thoughts, Professor? Although for now, better to focus my efforts on the fight at hand. Those who slither in the dark will never harm anyone again. They're finally done for. Thank you, Professor. Finally, I feel some vindication for what I've gone through. Ah, Professor. Ever the modest one. I do like that aspect of you. Sure thing. As long as I'm of use here, I'm happy to stick around, Professor. I should probably keep things to myself. But in all honesty, what matters to me, more than anything, is ensuring a peaceful, quiet future for my parents. I don't care about the kingdom. I simply want to remove the threat of the Empire. Because of this, Dimitri's fixation on Edelgard is convenient to me. I fight for my own reasons and no others. Incidentally, the Galatea family was originally an offshoot from the Daphno family. I'm sure you know this already, but House Ordelia is aligned with the Empire. They face the Empire from across a river, similar to the Gloucesters. Even so, I refuse to yield to the Empire a second time. The Empire did unthinkable things to my family, and to me. The only option here is winning. Professor, you must promise we will overcome the Empire. I'm glad you're the one giving orders on the battlefield, Professor. I don't think we should trust Dimitri with that task. Although it's thanks to his obsession that we're wasting no time, taking the shortest route to defeating the Empire. I just can't see a bright future for this army, fighting as we are under the banner of a prince possessed. Even if we do succeed in defeating the Empire, I wonder what will become of Fodlan. I apologize. Whenever I'm with you, I speak more openly than I should. Please keep this between us. I'm relieved the prince seems to have finally come to his senses, though it's a real shame that Lord Rodrigue passed away. It really is. But now, I think we're starting to see a sliver of hope for the future of Fodlan. The pro-imperialist lords who have let the Empire in have their hands tied. Houses Ardelia and Gloucester are exposed and likely caught off guard. That must mean that Claude's allies are... Geographically, it would be hard for him to commit his forces. And logically, it wouldn't make sense for him to offer support. Margrave Edmund does not commit troops as easily as he commits funds. So that's doubtful. Without a doubt, she is providing reinforcements. She has always supported Claude. Whatever the situation, Claude's military strength is lacking. And what's more, they suffered casualties at Gronder Field. I don't know how long the Alliance forces will be able to hold out against the Empire. We've got to move quickly, or we may be too late. Something about Lord Arundel rubbed me the wrong way. There was something off about him. Not that I've ever heard anything good about him. Have you ever heard of the Harim family? No, they're an imperial house. Their territory is south of Ardelia's. Correct. Their lands are due south of the Ardelia territory. Since Edelgard's rule, Lord Arundel had been governing the territory. It seems like his reign was particularly cruel. The people there suffered greatly under him. He seemed to be a good and just person at one point. It simply doesn't make sense. Wanting so desperately to speak with Edelgard, just as we're about to fight. Could it be that the prince is having doubts about killing her? Then perhaps it is okay. I suppose they're the only ones who fully understand the extent of their relationship. He's certainly changed from the vengeful person he once was. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm actually relieved. A king who's responsible for Fodlan's future can't exact personal vendettas and have a cold heart. I've grown weary and impatient. These past 5 years, my hands have been bound, but now I can finally take action with a clear goal. I'm grateful to you and to everyone. Nonsense. Your presence steeled everyone's resolve. Down with the Empire. Surely peace will soon follow if the Empire is overthrown. Then my parents can finally find peace themselves. ALL, the Valley of Torment, lies on the border of 3 noble territories, the kingdoms Fraldarius and Galatea families, and the Alliance's Daphno family. In the Fraldarius lands to the north, the former Kingdom Army and New Duke's Army are fighting. I'm sure you know this already, but House Ardelia is aligned with the Empire. They face the Empire from across a river, similar to the Gloucesters. Even so, I refuse to yield to the Empire a second time. The Empire did unthinkable things to my family, and to me. The only option here is winning. Professor, you must promise we will overcome the Empire. I trust you and Claude, but I feel uneasy. If we lose in the next battle, the Empire's army will likely come surging into Alliance territory. If that happens, my parents won't escape unharmed. They've raised their anti-imperial flag after all. Thank you, Professor. I'll fight with all I've got to. You're right. I chose my path. I must press on. That's all anyone can do, really. Speaking with you has eased my mind a bit. Just enough, in fact, to put me in the mood for sweets. As I suspected, they seem to be supporting the Imperial Army now, though I don't quite know who they are yet. Nor do I know what tricks they'll use against us next. We can't afford to let our guard down. Invading the capital and smashing the Empire. I wonder if doing so could really end this war. Care to share your thoughts, Professor? You say that with such confidence. I want to believe that it's true. Perhaps you feel similarly to me. The whole mess puts me on edge. Although for now, better to focus my efforts on the fight at hand, those who slither in the dark. It seems we'll finally discover their true form. I get the sense that they're in league with the mages who experimented on me as a child. I wouldn't be surprised if Edelgard was subjected to them too. There's no telling what their true motives are. But whatever their motives, what they have done is unforgivable. They must be exterminated. It seems that there are some Shambhala loyalists in Nemesis's forces. As long as they're around, we can expect them to continue with their cruel experiments. Yes, we have to. It's the only way to ensure nobody else will go through what I went through. We must obliterate them in the next battle. It's the only recompense for Edelgard's death. Yes? Can I help you? I bet you've come to invite me to your class. What with my stupendous grades and all, I would actually enjoy being in your class. Quite a lot. This was a successful interaction, I must say. Please provide me with all the most challenging assignments. I want to be well equipped for the future. Oh. You aren't actually inviting me. There's no need to be coy about it. You've wasted my precious time. I'll be off then. Yes? I'm actually very busy right now. If you're here to ask a favor, please ask someone else. Honestly, what do they all take me for? I'm fine. Perfectly and completely fine. It's hardly different from daytime. I'm not scared. Ghost! Hang on. Professor? Is that you? Oh, well, good evening! Oh, I left something in the dining hall, so I'm on my way to fetch it. But you don't need to come with me or anything like that. I'm fine on my own. Really. You weren't? Oh, apologies for making an assumption. The truth is, everyone I come across asks if I'd like some company. They all seem to think I'll be scared wandering alone at night. So rude and presumptuous, you know. I'm perfectly capable of being on my own. Hey, Professor, wait! Well, I thought it might be nice to walk and talk together to the dining hall. Shall we? To be abundantly clear, this has nothing to do with my non-existent fear of ghosts. Oh, you must be bored. Fantastic, then. Oh, are you on patrol? You should probably patrol on over to the dining hall, then. Wonderful. After all, there's lots of very important food stored there. Do you mind, filling the void with some chatter? Some find silence to be a bit unsettling after all. Okay, I confess, I am scared of ghosts. The monastery is unnerving to me at night. So, can we talk about something, please? Anything. I've noticed for quite some time now, you treat all your students equally, don't you? You've never treated me differently simply because I'm younger than the others, and I've always appreciated that. Isn't it rather obvious? I'm roughly 2 to 3 years younger than the rest of the class. Have you just not been paying close enough attention to those you teach? That's poor form for a professor. Oh, there! I found what I was looking for. Well, I'd better be on my way now. Good night! Professor, thank you for helping me with my training. I'd love to do this again if possible. Your advice is always so useful. Everyone thinks you're a wonderful teacher. You account for people's weaknesses while capitalizing on their strengths. Initially, I wasn't sure you paid too much attention to your students. Clearly, I was wrong. After all, were that the case, you wouldn't be capable of providing such useful feedback. I'll continue to learn and grow from your instruction, Professor. I just know it. You think I'm determined? Professor, Thank you. You're the only one who's ever praised me like that. I mean, people are always telling me I've got a knack for magic. If you can call the power of my crest a knack, they aren't wrong per se, though bearing 2 crests isn't a gift I ever asked for. Anyhow, I've made a point to work harder than most and not rely too heavily on the power they bestow. So I find it frustrating that the only praise I seem to receive is directly related to that power. If you've noticed how hard I work, then, well, it makes me very happy. Well, you see, it is because I am the only child of House Ordelia. I must do all I can for my family name. I'm determined to someday be of real value to them. And that day must come soon. I can't waste any time. I don't have much of it left. Anyway, I should be going. Thank you again for your help. Thank you for helping me with my training again today, Professor. I'm gonna keep at it for a while longer, so you go on ahead. I can't. Not when I'm right on the cusp of using my power to greater potential. Surely you yourself are tired. Just don't worry about me, okay? I'm sorry, Professor. It was careless of me to continue, despite how fatigued I clearly was. I probably should have listened to you. Now I've made a mess of things. I can't help but feel the need to rush in all things constantly. You get that way when you realize you haven't got much time. I believe I've mentioned that House Ordelia was, at one time, being controlled by people from the Empire. During that time, strange people, mages perhaps, came and performed rituals on all the youth within my family. 13 years ago, House Ordelia was involved in a civil conflict within the Empire. All we did was respond to a call for aid. We weren't involved politically, but once the rebellion was crushed, my family was held responsible for the aid we gave. and the Empire gained some sway over us as a result. At the time, the noble houses of the Alliance took a passive stance. No one lent aid to my family. As a result, some key officials within the family were killed, and people from the Empire were sent to replace them. Among those people were some mysterious mages. They were unsettling, in a word, skin pale as death. One after another, they captured and imprisoned the children of our household. They began performing terrible rituals on the children, though it's probably more accurate to call them experiments. With the Empire monitoring our every move, my parents could do nothing but watch in horror as all of this unfolded. One after another, the children died, until the only one left was me. You know, my hair wasn't always this color. During their experiments, they'd been doing things with my blood. One morning, I awoke like this, a shock of white hair, all trace of pigment gone. Upon seeing me, the mages were delighted. They realized that their experiments had finally succeeded. Sure enough, they ran a test and saw that two crests coexisted within me. Losing pigment from my hair wasn't the only loss. The mages informed me that my lifespan was now greatly shortened, 5 more years at most, perhaps less. Shortly thereafter, the mages lost interest in me, and we never saw them in the Ordelia household again. Since all that, our family has been in decline. It's challenging now even to govern our territory. After all my mother and father have suffered, I at least want them to have peace as they grow older. That is all I wish for. But I haven't much time to ensure it comes to pass. It's not like what's been done to me can be undone. Professor, the only way I can conceive of would be to remove my crest somehow. But I don't know if that's even remotely possible. Even if it were, I wouldn't be of much use to you and the others without my crests. You sound resolved. I'll allow your resolve to bolster my own. Thank you, Professor. Professor, we have. I can feel that the crests are no longer a part of me. That must mean my body will. Thank you, Professor. No matter the outcome, I feel a sense of peace. I have hope, and that hope will carry me through it all. You've done so much, searching for a way to remove my crests, to save me. I can't tell you how much it means to me. I will not claim my title. House Ordelia will end with my father's generation. After this, I'm going to begin preparations for our family's dissolution. This will ensure that the people of our territory will not be troubled, and my parents will be able to live out their lives in peace. A good question. I hadn't considered it. But assuming I have life left in me, would it be all right if I came back here to stay by your side? Without my crests, I'm not sure what all I'd be able to do for you. But you have given me a new life. I want to use my time to support you however I can. Oh, is this? This is what I said earlier about not caring what the outcome of all this is? I take it back. For the longest time, I didn't think I'd be around to be a part of the future you and everyone were creating, that I had no place in it. But now, I cannot fight it any longer. I do care, and I do not wish to give up on chasing that future. I do not wish to die. I refuse to give up on myself or on our future. And so, I promise to come back to you, no matter what. Once I'm back, yes, I quite like the sound of that. Together, it is decided. We will be together forever, living long, full lives. Count on it, my love. Professor, I saw you wandering off to this tower. I thought you might be lost or something, so I followed you inside. Don't toy with me like that, Professor. I know it's you. I figured you might be lost or something, so I followed you inside. Everyone seems to be looking for you. You're surprisingly popular. I do find it surprising, yes. Particularly your popularity with the ladies. Despite your confidence, I'm still surprised by your popularity with the ladies. It isn't like you're very sociable after all. Not to be rude, mind you. I wouldn't know, to be honest. I have no interest in such things. The academy is for honing one's skills, not for frivolous romances, despite what the other students may think. I overheard them gossiping about a place where a man and a woman can make a vow, and it is certain it will come to pass. Seems to be some folk tale they enjoy. I wonder where this place is. Oh, of course! I recall now. It's... Wait, that's here, isn't it? Just to be clear, this is pure coincidence. I didn't follow you for that. But we are here alone, so people may wonder what our aim is. Let's get out of here before someone sees us and gets the wrong idea. Are you saying you don't mind if someone sees us and thinks, oh, I suppose you believe there's no danger of that since it's just me. You're treating me like a child, aren't you? Well, I don't mind either then. Obviously, there's nothing going on here. If you are gonna stick around until we collect dust, then so will I. Actually, I'm gonna go now. Don't you stay too long either. You'll catch your death of cold out here. Ah, so I see. If one were to combine this incantation method with the power of a crest, then in theory, it should... Claude, I really don't appreciate you interrupting me right now. Uh-huh. The last thing I need is you fretting over me as though I'm some child. I'm only a few years younger than you, you know. Hardly worth noting. Furthermore, my grades in magic and basically every other subject are far higher than yours. Furthermore, my grades in magic and basically every other subject were far higher than yours. Ugh, the audacity! Whatever it is you think you're treating me like, it's unendingly annoying. I find myself speechless in the wake of your staggering ignorance. Now, please, leave me be. You know, I am suddenly rather sleepy. Excuse me while I see myself out. Hang on. If we're trying to repel the enemy, I should be positioned there, correct? Claude, will you knock it off already? So help me. If you continue treating me like a child, I've more pride than to turn an unarmed soldier to cinders. It wouldn't kill you to speak to me as an equal when we're discussing matters as serious as this. Perhaps that's true. Truly? Fair enough then. From here forward, see to it that you treat me with the respect of an equal. And I admit that you are not short on talent yourself, but don't go getting a big head over it. Strategically speaking, if I poised an archer to lie in wait here, and then lured the enemy in over here. I am, but I don't see how it's any of your business. I apologize for my sharpness. I just feel pressured. I place a lot of personal pressure on myself. I need to become as strong as possible to put my parents at ease. That's true. You really are very mature, Claude, despite the impression you give off. And I clearly have plenty of growing to do. I probably don't have much room to come down on you for harping on me. That is absolutely not what I said. Just after you finally earned a small degree of respect from me, too. You think I'm special. How dare you? I'm feeling generous. So I'll let you off easy this one time. All right, buddy, you asked for it. I think you mean a baseless rumor. Why are you wasting your time? And mine, for that matter. Shut your mouth! Just... let's go talk somewhere other than here. Okay, where did you hear about it? I should have figured. You haven't told anyone, have you? Please stop talking so loudly. So what if I have two crests? If you insist on speaking of it, please do so quietly. Wait, what? Did you just trick me? Well... Now that I've confirmed it for you, there's not much I can do. Enough is enough! I am done talking about this! As though I'd speak of this to the likes of you. I know you're the one who sent me that anonymous letter. There are things we must discuss. It sounded like some bizarre love letter. Now I'm just confused and grossed out. Pay attention to you? As though anything you say is worth listening to. It's not like you can tell me anything I don't already know. Is that your theory then? I could have one removed? Professor Hanneman, is that so? Even if you'd gone through horrifying experiments, endless trauma, and if you knew that all this pain meant you'd die very, very young, that's what you'd think? You're completely lacking in empathy. So of course you would make such a crass and foolish assumption. You seem to have lined up your desserts very meticulously. Oh, really? Wow. You've put a lot of thought into this. May I? Ah, thanks. So what exactly is the life choice you mentioned? Also, if you are not partaking, I'll just go ahead and eat them both. That seems unnecessarily intense. Just one won't kill me then? So I should just pick one and be done with it. Wait, whose choice are we talking about now? Hang on, Linhart. Do you mean to tell me you care about me? Since when? Family? That escalated rather quickly, although having more family does sound nice. Are you sure these aren't poisoned? Linhart, wait! Wait! Yum. So delicious. I'm so content in this moment. Felix, how long have you been there? Were you watching me? You were, weren't you? For once, I thought I had some privacy. Huh? Nope. Didn't say anything at all. Here, I'm buying your silence. With cake. Take it. If people knew I was shoveling cake into my face by the fistful, they'd think me nothing more than a child. You'll never understand. Just take this, will you? Does your refusal mean you'll be telling everyone about my cake-shoveling ways? Nonsense. Nobody can resist something so delicious. Look, I'm giving you this cake whether you like it or not. Eat it, toss it, throw it at an unsuspecting victim. The choice is yours. Just please don't mention this to anyone. Yes, these are the moments I live for. You again? Can't you see I'm busy? So how did you like the cake? I bet you ate it, didn't you? I knew it was irresistible. What was the experience like? I'm curious, from a research perspective. You gave it to some undeserving child? Cake is not a sweet. Cake is the divine essence of the heavens. That's true. But life without cake is no life at all. Your dismissiveness regarding cake is inexcusable. I simply can't resist the spongy magnificence of cakes. I don't understand how you can be so dispassionate about it. Just try a bite. Come on, open up. But I made this one, with care and attention, love even. And I went light on the sugar. Just for you, more or less. Just don't give it to some silly child this time. Felix! I've awaited this fated day. Aw, come on. I just want to hear what you thought of the cake I gave you. If by edible you mean incredible, then yes, I agree. Please refrain from lumping delectable cake into the same category as provisions. You have an interesting way of giving compliments. I'm glad you liked it. You say that as though I just carry cake on me at all times. Did you want some? If cake is what you want, you can just ask me directly. It just so happens I have a brand new recipe I tried out, special for you. It's delicious and not overly sweet. Perfect for you. Go on. Take a bite. You love it. I can tell. Here, try this one out too. See? So amazing, huh? Just keep working on that sweet tooth of yours. Then we can share cake notes together and eat cake together all the time. That is, it just sounds nice is all. Okay. Doesn't look like much has changed for you since then. And unlike you, I don't have time to waste. So leave me be. I am absolutely disinterested in spending any time with you. What is it you want anyway? Clearly, you haven't been listening to a word I've been saying. Perhaps it's because I'm younger. You see fit to ignore me when I speak. Is that it? So it isn't my age that's to blame for you breezing over my wishes. It's my gender. Your lack of self-awareness is deeply troubling. Look, I'm really busy. Super, extremely, inordinately busy. I've got one last thing to say to you. I'm skilled with magic, and my abilities are finely honed. It's not like I need someone for target practice. Sylvain, I've been looking for you. Do you have a moment? Actually, yes. That sounds fine. I don't really care about the atmosphere. I just wanted to apologize. Can you just shut your mouth and listen for once? Here's something you may have already picked up on. I very much dislike being treated like a child. I've worked very hard to be where I am now, and such treatment makes it feel like all of that work is being ignored. Yes, you already told me all of this. Back then, you were just as devoted to goofing off as you are now. And there it is. You're always so quick to flatter every woman you come across. I knew that. And yet I never thought you would direct your antics at me. I do not mind that you wished to chat with me. In fact, you might even say I was happy about it. Just a bit. Well, it's true. Your behavior is maddening. But in retrospect, I realize that was you treating me as you do all women, rather than like a child. I wasn't thinking about it like that at the time, and so I snapped at you. I could have perhaps approached the matter with a tad more maturity. Therefore, I would like to apologize. There you go again with your false flattery. Say what you will, you're still gonna have to earn my trust. Just this once, I'll cut you some slack. Don't get used to it. It's not like I can change who you are as a person. I'll leave you with this. Don't say things you don't mean. It makes it impossible to tell the lies from the truth. Don't come crying to me if you carry on as you have and end up with no friends. You are exhausting. I guess the positivity is okay, though. Why do I have to? Is that so? I thought you were something of an honor student at the School of Sorcery. What is that supposed to mean? Are you implying that I don't work hard too? If you think my skills are inherent, you are sorely mistaken. And what is it you want to learn about? Look at how quickly you're picking this up. You're clearly very skilled already. Do you insist on taking the conversation in that direction? It's fine. Let's just drop it. A bit more self-confidence would go a long way for you, Annette. That's all I've got for you today. I need to get going now. Lots to do. Oh, you're still here? I did. What are you reading? Is that the Compendium of Light and Dark? I've read it so many times, I have nearly the entire thing memorized. That said, it does seem to take liberties with some topics, so be aware of that while you're reading it. You've got quite the stack of books here for only wanting to brush up on one thing. I knew you were a hard worker, Annette. It's all right. In getting to know you, I've taken some time to self-reflect. I used to think that I worked harder than anyone, but I'm not so sure anymore. I have to work even harder to keep pace with you. Well, if you work extra hard, I'll need to work super-duper extra hard. Okay, that's enough. We could do this forever, but we've got better things to do. I'm glad we had this chat. I feel excited to continue working super-duper extra hard now. I'm lucky to have someone like you around to inspire me. Why are you smiling? It is nice, isn't it? But I still intend to surpass you. I'm not quite sure how someone of your caliber is struggling with this one, but let me break it down for you. I know you're always seeking the attention of ladies, but why are you wasting your breath on me? I'm not so sure I'm the one being silly. Actually, I'm busy. Stuff to do. I was under the impression you were interested in me as a person. What do house matters have to do with anything? I couldn't care less. Yes, of course, when the time comes. But right now, I'm quite busy. Maybe later. As it is, I'm studying magic for the benefit of the Alliance, and I would appreciate it if you left me to it. As it is, I'm studying magic for the benefit of Fodlin's future, and I would appreciate it if you left me to it. The future, he says. As though I have a future. It didn't work. Odd. My logic was sound. Or so I thought. Nope. Busy. I am perfectly capable of knowing when to stop. I'm no child, I'll have you know. Ooh, that actually looks pretty tasty. All right, fine. Oh, geez. Wow. Actually, this is delicious. You have excellent taste, Lawrence. Come on, can't we just enjoy the snacks? I loathe talking about myself. Can you stop with the kid treatment? I mean, really, is age the only thing you consider when engaging with others? Are you even listening? It's like you can't even help yourself but to continue treating me like a child. You really are relentless. I'll spell this out for you once more. I don't care. I, sir, am nothing like you. You're bullheaded and boorish, and utterly fixated on the future. All you care about is what's to come. Sure, it's all well and good to be thinking about such lofty things. However, for me, the future's a very long ways off. Better to focus on the present, on the here and now. Thanks for the tea. Picking wildflowers? Seems such a common activity for someone like you. Knock it off! Sorry. It's just that the thorns are a bit sharp, and I'm not a fan of killing nature. Politics. Again. That's not something you should get your hopes up about. House Ordelia will end with my father. No, it's just... my body, unfortunately, is not built to last, and I have no siblings. When I die, that's the end. Noble birth has been nothing but a source of pain for me. For me, and for my parents. We got sucked into the rebellion in the Empire, and it led to many responsibilities for us. The things we went through. I can hardly bear to speak of it. All I want now is to give my mother and father the chance to live out their years in peace. I intend to do whatever I can to ease the hardships of our people, while I still have life left in me. Naturally, I worry about what will come to pass after I'm gone, but I'm sure things will work out, so long as there are people like you around working so hard for a better future. Don't worry about it. If you're so insistent upon being my friend, I'm sure more tasty snacks and tea will help persuade me. But if speaking of the future holds such importance, better to find someone who actually has one. Enough is enough. I am fully aware. Now, stop following me. That's great and all, but I feel fine today, and I'm perfectly capable of caring for myself. I don't have time to take a rest. I'm overloaded with work, and I have less time than everyone else. I just want to do my own thing. Bring order to the Alliance, and put my parents' minds at ease. That's all well and good, but those vitamin-packed sweets you brought tasted weird. You have a point, but those health sweets are gross. That was pretty nice of you. I'm sorry, Lawrence. Thank you for being so thoughtful. Still, I don't need bushels and bushels of them. Gaining a ton of weight won't exactly lengthen my lifespan either. I mean, I like to be able to hang out with you as much as possible. And for as long as possible. Yikes! Keep it down, will you? Okay, noted. Will you just calm down already? I won't give up on myself either. Thanks for caring, Lawrence. This theory just isn't coming together. The thought behind it is sound enough, but... Raphael, while I appreciate your offer, I'm not so sure you'll be much help here. I have absolutely zero interest in such things. Shut up! Can't you see I'm busy? Go bother someone else. What nerve you have, too, calling yourself Big Bro, like I'm your little sister or some nonsense. Just cut the act. Anyway, my grades are miles better than yours. My grades were always miles better than yours. If you want to play the part of Big Brother, you'd probably benefit from studying way more. I can't stand all the excuses. Clearly, you're the little kid here. You got all that? Now don't bother me again. Understood? Bye. So heavy. I think I might have borrowed one too many books this time. And I have to return them at some point. Just my luck. Thank you for the assistance. I can take it from here. They're all books I need for my studies, and it's my own responsibility. No need to involve others. No, really, I have this. I am not incapable, and I'm not a child. You are remarkably talented at channeling me. Yeah. You seem obstinately determined to go against my wishes. Hey, what are you doing? They need to be stacked neatly, otherwise they'll topple. This one needs to be rearranged, otherwise the rest won't fit properly. You're the one who was so insistent on helping. If you're gonna help, do it right or don't bother. Where is that darn ladder? I can't find the ladder anywhere, and I needed to check out the books up on that top shelf. No, I need to be able to dig around myself. Hang on a sec! That's not... I hope nobody saw that. Anyway, thank you. That was helpful. I can't believe how many fantastic books were hidden just out of reach up there. Thanks for being so patient while I rummaged. Hey, Raphael, you're always extra nice to me. Is it because I remind you of your sister Maya? That's certainly something I can relate to. Young or old, we can all help one another out. We each have our strengths and weaknesses, receiving help and providing help in return. It sounds so simple, really. I do. And I hope you understand that you can come to me for help too, Raphael. I can't be the only one receiving aid. It makes me feel incompetent and like a kid. I hate that. I bet it's a disaster knowing you. I'll help you on that front, but I've got some rules on how to keep things tidy. You'll need to listen up. Whenever I need it, huh? How long does that offer hold? For always sounds nice. I'm fine with that. Ignatz, hold still, will you? Your shoes are untied. It looks sloppy. Let me just fix it for you. Clearly that's not the case. Otherwise, this wouldn't be an issue. Now, hush. There we go. You've also got awful bedhead. It's the back of your head. Quite unkempt. You really should get it together. I mean, really. You're born to a noble adjacent merchant family, aren't you? You really should be more presentable. Well, consider that if I make even the slightest misstep, everyone will treat me like a child. There's nothing I hate more than that. Ignatz, are you really lecturing me about how I conduct myself right now? You're a sheepish, unreliable scatterbrain who can only ever think about what others think of him. Perhaps you should worry about your own maturity before you start questioning mine. Although you certainly look the part of a baby, so maybe that's asking too much. Anyway, I've got things to do, so I'm gonna go now. Out of my way! You're such a child, I swear. Oh, hey, it's you. Going for a walk again today? All on your own? I'd better go with you. I'd be worried if you went by yourself. But won't you have a hard time carrying everything back? You're right. You don't look it. Your biceps are a fraction of the size of Raphael's. If you start fumbling around under the weight of all the groceries, and then you trip and spill everything everywhere, look, I'm just saying that could be your future. It could happen. It doesn't look pretty. Yep. You're honestly a bit of a mess. Oh, knock it off with the wounded puppy dog eyes. As though I'm some sort of villain in your story. I see. So now it's my fault? No matter how grown you seem to think you are, there's so much you're incapable of. You can play at being a mature adult, but it only ever complicates things, and that's exactly what makes you look like a child. Maybe I went a bit far that time, but he's so stubborn despite his ineptitude. I can't just leave it be. He's so foolish, constantly making a mess of things. Wait, but then what he said to me before, to everyone else, do I seem just like Ignatz? Hey, can you help me out with my shopping? Actually, can you pick up some tea for me? I'd do it, but I'm drowning in work. I'm not too picky. I just like having it around, really. Whatever's cheapest works for me. Here's some money. I just thought I could lean on you a bit. You know, rather than trying to do everything on my own. Oh? You look like you were doing just fine when you went to get groceries the other day. Uh-huh. So, you've stopped trying to do things on your own, then? Sounds nice, sure. Do you mind brewing mine while you're at it? I mean, you seem plenty reliable to me. You're fun, you're easy to be around, and you rarely complain when you help others. It's not easy for me to rely on people. But with you, it's different. You really are unreliable, as it turns out. Guess I'll just have to take your word for it. Oh, Marianne, there you are. There's been an accident at the training grounds. A spell gone amok. Come on, we need all the help we can get over there. We could really use your help before things get out of hand. Come on, hurry. Oh, for the goddess's sake. You won't know unless you try, will you? Don't decide you're of no use without even giving it a shot. Fine then. Forget it. I'll go on my own. You can just stand here and stare at the wall. Oh, perhaps I took it too far. Hey, Marianne, do you have a minute? Listen, I'm sorry about all the stuff I said earlier. The situation was urgent, and I'll admit I wasn't thinking clearly. I shouldn't have been so callous. I hurt your feelings, didn't I? Huh? But, hey, are you sure you're all... Huh? Wait a second. You're being so... negative. I don't know what to say. Marianne, do you mind if I ask you about something? It's about animal behavior. Among us all, you surely know the most about animals. I've read that in outdoor battles, wild animals can sometimes cause unexpected confusion. What do you think would be the best strategy to, Are you listening, Marianne? For crying out loud! Why do you always have to admit defeat before even giving yourself a chance? This is beyond ridiculous. You're impossible. You seem convinced you're some sort of cursed being, destined to bring doom and gloom to anyone you encounter. Why do you have such a terrible opinion of yourself? How could you possibly be so dense? Just nothing. Now you listen to me for a moment. I can see that you have some deep-seated turmoil you struggle with. I'll have you know I have quite a few issues of my own, perhaps more grave than yours, if you can imagine. Yes, but I'm not the only one who has such troubles to contend with. Everyone does. That's why it's so important to maintain a positive outlook and do what we can. Each time we find the light in the dark, we grow, bit by bit, and without growth, what's the point in carrying on? Don't envy me. Instead, just choose to find the positive, won't you? The time is now! This is your moment! That's more like it. Now to start, why don't you help me out by answering my questions about wild animals? I've got better things to do. Although, I do wonder why everyone is always so eager to help you. So I've noticed. That's what strikes me as odd. I see. That would explain it. There's no reason to deny what's clearly true. Everything about your outward appearance is immaculate and well thought out. Even your fingernails are always well kept and painted. No doubt your toenails are the same. And you smell delightful, like candy. Or wait, am I catching a hint of floral? Floral oils, huh? I didn't think they had much use outside of homeopathy and house cleaning. It's lovely. Now I smell just like you, Hilda. Somehow, this makes me feel a little more mature. Thank you. Hilda? What's that box you're holding? It's making me nervous for some reason. I don't recall ever asking you to... I've never used makeup before. It sounds complicated. Why would I want to appear vulnerable? I don't want to be attacked. You're treating me like a child. But I guess it's mostly harmless. Gracefully extending? Suddenly standing and sitting are an exhausting activity. Hilda, that's enough. This is wearing me out. I'm not sure I'm cut out for this type of thing. No thanks. You're more suited to such things. I'll leave it to you. I haven't the time or the energy to fuss over how I'm perceived. Even with my best efforts, I'll never be as good at this as you are. Still, this was rather fun. Thank you, Hilda. I think I'm gonna pass out. Yeah, I've been feeling really queasy all morning. I'm just heading back to my quarters to rest. What? No. I'm not some sort of infant. I'm feeling a bit better now. I should be okay from here. Thank you so much, Leonie. I hope I wasn't too heavy. Was I? Training? Are you always thinking about training? Wouldn't that actually be rather inefficient? Well, for example, if you're training for endurance, it seems running would be a better approach. If you're only ever training by cramming it in with other tasks, you won't be getting the best results. I'm no expert on the subject, but even I can logic that one out. You've noticed, have you? That was sweet of Leonie to check on me and carry me all the way to my quarters. And in the end, I just lectured her. She did thank me for it, but I probably could have handled that better. How about these? Just some old study notes of mine. Of course. It's all safely stored in my brain now. If I concentrate, I can access any of it with ease. No, that's not it. There's just something I want to say to you. I'm sorry for saying your way of doing things was inefficient. You've clearly grown plenty strong, doing things as you have. Not to mention, multitasking and training in that way surely presents interesting challenges. I haven't much choice. I can't waste even a single moment. Yes, you know, Leonie, you're so kind, so strong. I was just thinking what an incredible partner you'd make. Really, you've got all of the perfect qualities. I'm not simply saying that. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. Phew. That about wraps it up for today's training. No thanks to a certain distraction. Professor Hanneman, I know you're there. It's extremely unsettling the way you're always staring like that. Your half-hearted attempt to hide your weird staring only makes it weirder. That might ease the weirdness, but it will continue to be extremely unsettling. I understand well enough, and I'll do my best to ignore it. But in return, shh! Don't talk so loudly about it out here in the open. These awful crests may seem miraculous to you, but for me, they fall under the category of curse. You are utterly lacking in empathy. You know that? Even if you spent your entire life observing me, you'd never understand my feelings and all I've been through. Now, if you'll excuse me, Professor Hanneman, is this a good spot for this book? It's no trouble. After all, it's proper etiquette for the young to help the elderly. I've been feeling well enough, all things considered. Here he goes with the positive again. Looks like your research is more useless than I thought. You just can't see beyond the crest, can you? In all your research, haven't you considered that my abilities are a direct result of the effort I've put in? My efforts far exceed those of any other student. I've placed top priority on growing as quickly as possible. It has nothing to do with talent. It's a question of sheer will. I'm determined to succeed, no matter the sacrifice. I have goals, just like anyone, and precious little time in which to achieve them. The people who made me as I am informed me that my life would be drastically shortened as a result. A person bearing two crests, against the will of nature itself. Well, clearly it can't be sustainable. As such, I don't indulge in the luxury of fantasizing about the future. I haven't got one. Knowing all this now, will you still claim that my crests are something positive? I'll be leaving now. Did you want something, Professor Hanneman? I'm the one who should apologize. I'm sorry for being rude to you. Anyway, I'll keep going along with your research. I have to be on my way now. Correct. What is it you're implying? Crestology, of course. Why would you want to do such a thing? Do you think removing a crest could mean that they won't suffer from its effects any longer? Could you really do that? Professor Hanneman, I think I'm the one who should be asking for your help, really. Anyway, I'm sick of a crest determining a person's worth, too. If you do manage to restore my lifespan, I'd certainly think about it. Did you hear the thunder just now? Good thing we got all the clothes indoors before the skies opened up. I apologize for troubling you with this task. Oh, it's just odd. Every time it's my turn to wash the clothing, there's a sudden downpour. Surely it must just be an inconvenient coincidence. But I can't help feeling as though I'm somehow to blame for it. Wow, you're even harsher than I am. I do, yes, but hold on a moment. How did you know that? How had I never connected this? This is quite a revelation. A crest affecting the weather. I suppose that's true. So we must test our hypothesis. Maybe we can find someone who tends to bring the sunshine around. That would be especially handy for helping out with the wash. I do. What do you need to speak with me about? Yes. We never did get to test that theory since I haven't found any sun-bringing folks. Certainly, but I don't see your point. Well, it's nice to know that someone understands. That can't be true, can it? Stop messing with me. I don't even know the meaning of the word. Well, thank you. Why are you being so kind to me anyway? I see. I will say I'm happy to have someone around who actually seems to understand me. I really like that. Someone as wonderful as you is my big sister? What are you doing, Cyril? You can't expect to carry all these by yourself. Let me help. I'm well aware. You should accept the help being offered. I'm older and wiser. I know best. Yep, totally fine. I'm just kind of losing my grip on this log. Ah! Well, that wasn't much help as it turned out. I didn't realize they'd be that heavy. I couldn't even walk in a straight line. I feel foolish. Hang on. Shouldn't you rest for a bit? In that case, let me help you carry the chopped wood. You can't be serious. Our worlds aren't so different. We're together right now, aren't we? Hey, Cyril! Cyril? What is he staring at? I see. Hey, what are you looking at there? Anything interesting? Let me have a look. 3 apples, 2 bags of ointment, 1 piece of graphite. Intriguing. Some sort of code, perhaps? Oh, that's all? Sorry for interrupting in that case. This is kind of a one-person job, so I won't bother you by offering aid. Is that so? But why do you keep it a secret? You're always welcome to call on me for help. I'd be happy to. I really mean that. Anything you need. Good. Now, you'd better go get those supplies before it gets dark. Do you remember everything on the list? Need me to read it one more time for you? All right, listen up. I'm not going to do this a third time. What's up, Cyril? Looks like it's another shopping list. I'm happy to help you out. Did you try looking it over yourself yet? Have a look here. Any of these letters look familiar? Yes, you got it! See? You can do it! It's clear you've got a sharp memory. If you apply yourself, you'll be reading in no time. Reading is such an important skill. Once you learn, you won't forget. And I won't be around to read things for you forever. Anyway, don't you enjoy learning? It seems like you haven't even thought of trying prior to this. Do you simply not have time for it? It seems like a hassle at this point not to learn, so you may as well start putting in the work. You do? As a matter of fact, they haven't. Stop messing with me. Excuse you? I mean, honestly, don't expect me to read for you again. And, just take care of yourself, will you? What's this letter all about? Doesn't appear to have a sender written anywhere. This handwriting is so sloppy. Wow. Dear Lysithea, I read the book you gave me. This must be from Cyril. He's learning so quickly. It was hard and it got more easy, more I tried it, and it was fun and I learned new stuff. That's the spirit. Thanks you for helping me to read and to write. You are so welcome. Some things are hard to say and easy to write. I know just what you mean. I want to read more and learn writing better. You're already doing so well with this. I can see how hard you're working. I am glad you are my friend. It makes me bappy. Oh, Cyril, you sweet little... Some feelings can't be verbalized or put into writing. Look, it's just that what I'm trying to say is, I'm bappy too. Let's keep studying and spending time together, okay? Huh? Oh, no, I'm fine. Really, just not accustomed to so much manual labor. Yes, the other student who was assigned to tidy up with me wasn't feeling well, so it's just me. I figured I could at least dust the bookshelves or something, but I got a little carried away. As much as I love books, I can't say I love carrying stacks of them to and fro. They're so heavy. I can do without the condescension, thanks. After all, I'm the only one who has to deal with the fact that I've worn myself out. Considering what? But I want to finish what I've started. Fine. As long as you'll finish all this up. Yes. Thank you. Edelgard, do you have a minute? Yes, please. I never say no to sweets. Isn't that the whole point of cake? Well, more for me. These are fantastic with this tea. So, I can tell you know a fair bit about me. Edelgard, you know a fair bit about me, don't you? For example, the fact that I have 2 crests. No need to play coy with me. It won't work. It's clear my body has succumbed to the intense pressure of bearing 2 crests. Due to the immense requirements of bearing these crests, my life expectancy is painfully short. You know all of this, right? Still won't drop the act, huh? Despite how obvious you've been with your concern about my health? You're certainly consistent. I'm not really in the mood for these games. Given your rank, you certainly have access to all kinds of information that others do not. Clearly, you'd have heard all about me. Correct. It wasn't as though I had a say in any of this. You speak of all of this as though you understand it on a personal level. Edelgard, have you? I understand. There's no need to pander to me. But, yes, I'll take those. Thanks. Fine, thank you. And yourself? I overheard something recently. Something pertaining to you and your vision for the future. Is it really true that you intend to create a world in which crests no longer exist? I really agree with your thinking. My parents have suffered throughout their lives due to their nobility. Due to my own crests, I've never been able to live a normal life. I'm sick of nobility and crests. Of all of it. It sounds as if it's truly your mission to change things. I'll pledge my life to your cause, however short it may be. Has your hair always been that color, by the way? I ask because mine wasn't always this color. I lost all pigment after receiving my 2 crests. Edelgard, I want a world where people like you and I are no longer victimized. I want you to bring that world into being. If it's within me to help that come to pass, then I'll do whatever it takes. I promise. I will try my best to believe that. Please do not call me that. But, yes. Yes, I would. Cooking is easy once you understand the basics. Let's, not use that vegetable. Technically, it's edible, but it's not highly favored. Eating delicious food really takes my worries away. Simple days like today are probably the ones you'll think back on fondly, you know? I mean, I eat plenty of different things, but this? Definitely not my favorite. Singing with others is a nice change of pace. Usually I do it when I'm alone. Did you call me? Tea is nice and all, but it's not much good when you don't have sweets to go with it. My hair color is pretty unique, huh? I know I could stand to lighten up from time to time. One of the few pleasures I find is in eating sweets. It's kind of embarrassing. Do you believe in ghosts, Professor? Just wondering, if I hadn't met you, I don't think I'd be who I am today. It's not in me to put energy into things that won't yield results. I just don't see the point. Talking to you feels worth my time. I feel there's a lot I can learn from you. Care to share your thoughts, Professor? I don't like being stared at. If things had turned out differently, my hair wouldn't be this color. I wonder what I'd do, who I'd be if I gave everything up for freedom. I think about that all the time. If not for crests, the world might have been a more peaceful place. I'm exhausted by all my incessant thoughts. I just want to empty my mind for now. That tea was delicious. Invite me again sometime. See ya. Hey, that's mine. Thank you for finding it. What, did someone lose that? It's not mine. Oh, this is my favorite tea. Do you, have sugar? Lots, please. Wow, this tea smells so fancy. Thank you. Well now. No. Perhaps. Listen, basically, anyway, please do as I ask. What do you say? I see. Is that what you think? How can that be? Professor, I am grateful. This is delicious. I feel at ease. Some sweets. Anything is fine. Hanneman, would you drop it already? I told you to drop it, so drop it. All the questioning was bothersome. I've got this, but thanks. I don't need special assistance. That went well. There's no need to go overboard with the praise. You are so strange. And drop the partner, will you? I am not your partner, and crestology is irrelevant. You never listen to a word I say. That went fine, I guess. We can do better, though. Hey, the professor is right here. Can you please stop paying me so much attention? Thanks. Professor, I apologize for the uncomfortable atmosphere between us. Obviously, I'm the one who aspires. So that means the professor is the one helping others? Marianne, I hear you are quite clumsy, but do you think you could manage a bit of weeding? Please do. No, wait! Those are incredibly precious vegetables! We can't take on the big ones, but we should at least be able to clear out some of the smaller ones. Stable? Wait, is Dorte a horse? Your plan is to ask a horse?